Welcome back to another episode of Channel Control. Sorry we've missed a few, but there was a family emergency and things had to be dealt with. And since everything's filmed here at my place, and they don't have the keys to get in.
That's true, we don't. This is the studio, and this is the CC studio, if you will. So while you were gone, just so you know, I found about 4 more cats, 2 more dogs, all on your street.
All on the street.
All on your street.
All on my street.
Yep.
Apparently, my street is a garbage can for pets.
It is. It's a dumpster.
So, yeah. All right. So, anyway, I'm Rob, and
Matt.
here is Matt.
I am Matt. Yes.
How you been, Matt?
Doing well.
Besides collecting animals.
I'm doing great. Collecting animals is a fun hobby. But, what also is wonderful is the TV season we're in right now. There's so many great shows right now going on. I mean, you've got Silicon Valley, American Gods, all that good stuff. And then, at the same time, you get the NBA playoffs. So many great TV to watch right now.
Yeah, I'm not a big NBA fan.
Well, I'm not
Believe it or
anymore.
not, so.
I'm not anymore because the Rockets lost to the Spurs. So I'm really upset about that.
So, all right. So we'll just start talking about TV shows now.
Yeah.
All right. So the first up is 13 Reasons Why. They got a second season coming.
Oh, I don't understand how they can have a second season. So there's 13 tapes, right? 13 tapes about basically with a girl saying, "Oh, you're the reason why I committed suicide." So, I'm sorry, is season 2 going to open up where they find that there's 13 more tapes?
From what I understand, it's going to continue a couple months after the first season ends, and they're going to go into kind of the cleanup of what's going on, because even though each tape had something for each person as the reason why she killed herself, and it wasn't just things they did to her, but things she knew about them that she couldn't step in and help with.
Oh, I see.
So, they're going to continue on and tell you, okay, what happened to all these people? Because all you know right now is the main reason why she killed herself was this person. But everyone had a little step as far as everything else.
So 12 other people had a step.
Yeah.
Got it.
And the second season seems to be kind of like a cleanup, answering, because there's a whole lot of cliffhangers. I mean, everyone that had a tape, you really don't know what happens to them after. It's just kind of open. And even when I finished watching it, I'm like, I need to know more, because I need to know what happens to all these freaking kids.
Yeah.
So this is what season 2 seems to be going into. And I'm happy. I'm good for it, because I love the first season.
I mean, from what I've heard, because I honestly haven't watched it yet, but what I've heard is that it is really good television on Netflix. Mm-hmm. And for a title like 13 Reasons Why, I honestly thought it was going to be a love story. So I was kind of like, nah, I don't really need to watch this. And then I find out it is definitely not a love story. It is.
I mean, there is some romance in it, but
it's kind of tragic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's some really bad romance, rape.
Oh.
Which isn't exactly romance.
No,
so
bad romance.
Yeah, it's
Miss Lady Gaga.
Prison romance.
Oh. We'll get to American Gods later.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. But okay, but 13 Reasons Why, second season, I'm good for it. Let's get that going.
Yeah.
Our next one up is, what's our next show?
It's another Netflix show called Dear White People. It's me.
His people.
My people.
Okay. When they announced the show on the internet, Netflix did their thing on YouTube and so on, a lot of people were angry. A lot of white people were angry. And they're like, well, this show is racist and this and that and blah, 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 blah.
We just don't like being called out. That's the problem.
See, here's the other problem with this. This show really has nothing to do with white people.
That's what's so funny about it. But it's the fact that Dear White People is the title. People are like, no!
Okay, the main girl in the show, I believe her name is Samantha. Mm-hmm. She has a radio show entitled Dear White People, where she goes on and say, don't do this, don't do that, blah, blah, blah. But that's her radio show. and it's barely even really shown on the series. They may have her broadcasted maybe I think it's 4 or 5 times. The real issue about this TV show, or the issues in it, is the black people within the show, how they interact with each other, how this group of black people, or this one black girl who hangs out with only white girls and thinks she's better than everyone else, how she interacts with the black students who are like black power, all that stuff. I mean, the whole dynamic as far as that. Plus the girl Samantha, who's the white man needs to stop doing this and that, is dating a white guy.
So it gets a little contradictory.
So, yeah, it does.
Got it.
So, I mean, this takes place a couple months after the movie ends, if you ever saw the movie. And at the end of the movie, there was a house where the kid that ran that house, almost like the frat house or whatever, he's the son of the president of the school. So he kind of gets into a whole bunch of stuff. And he had a blackface party. And the black students found out about it, and they went down there and they pretty much tore it apart.
Yeah.
So
as well they should have.
Yeah.
It's not okay.
Yeah. So the series picks up a couple months after that, and the first few episodes focuses on characters from the movie. The first one was about Samantha. The next one was about Tyrone, I think his name was, and the other, I can't remember the names off the top of my head right now, but the one that really bothered me was one with Reggie, where there was a party. Reggie was there, one of the pro-black students, and his friend was white, and it was his house and having a party, and something happened, and the cops got called, and when they came in, guns were pulled on Reggie.
Oh.
So, yeah, that was kind of like this episode has got way too real. Way too real. With shit that's been going on for the past year, 2 years or whatever. It's kind of slowed down a little bit now, but yeah. I mean...
So is that is that a cliffhanger of season 1, or is that just...
No,
that's just an episode?
Yeah, that was just an episode.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's a teaser for you to go watch this on Netflix right now. But this got approved for a season 2, correct?
As far as I know, it has not. But,
okay.
But most likely
it's out
will.
Right now on Netflix.
It's out right now on Netflix. So if you want to check it out, if you're white and you said I hate this show because blah blah, you never saw the movie or anything, it's really not about white people.
Well, I think it's cool though, because like we're talking about how it's not yet approved for a season 2. Netflix has shown that as long as people enjoy it, they don't care. They will just go ahead and keep renewing it. Because they have an advantage because they don't have to survive off of ratings. They just can make whatever they want, and people are going to watch it eventually. And they don't care. As long as they create shows that people are going to enjoy, they'll keep renewing, they'll keep spending millions of dollars, and they won't think twice about it.
Yeah, much like 2 shows out now. One that they just came back. One last week was Sense8, which I saw the first season. I liked it, but it's a weird.
It's a strange
show.
It's a strange show. Really strange. That first episode, I don't know. It can either hook you or not.
Yeah,
that's the big thing. You know, like there are several shows where you're automatically going to get hooked. This is one that you got to be into the paranormal for this one to work.
Yeah, you really got to like the whole telepathy.
Yeah,
weird. You gotta like Legion.
Yes. Yeah. Essentially, you have to like Legion. Because it's very scattered. Just kind of like Legion is a little bit, but to an extent. They're not the same, obviously.
Okay. And the other one was Master of None.
Oh, yeah. That was great.
Sorry. That was a great series.
Yeah.
Thing is, I couldn't tell you a thing about it.
No, I get the show. Because the show is about a guy who is just trying to... Well, for a good portion of it, he's trying to find love. And he ends up finding love. And he goes through the portions of how stagnant love can be. Mm-hmm. And how it's not all that it's cracked up to be at times. But that's not really the heart of the show. Like, that was a good part. But, man, whenever they had the episode about dads, oh, that hit me. that hit me right in the feels because
Really?
he's talking about his dad being a foreigner and about how and he shows him a little bit growing up and how he could never have a guitar because his dad would never let him, and then he ends up buying his dad a guitar and his dad's like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, and then he doesn't ever use it because he doesn't know how to play guitar. But it's cool, and my dad, he came from Greece, so it was
a wonderful man.
A very wonderful man. And I kind of connected with that episode a little bit too because, coming from a father who's a foreigner, it's just, you never really see anything from their point of view for how they grow up. It's just, if you're ever watching a show and your dad's a foreigner, it's like, he's the funny dad who's a foreigner. Mm-hmm. You don't see where their background comes from. And so it was a really cool moment to show. And that hit me right there. I had to call my dad. I was like, hey, Dad, I'll buy you a guitar. And he's like, what are you talking about? So, no clue.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next show is a Hulu series. They're going to start something called Castlerock. Now, so if you know anything about...
It's a sequel of Fraggle Rock, correct?
No.
Okay.
Not.
Got it.
Sorry, no. Stephen King.
Yeah. God, I love that everything is Stephen King now.
Yeah. Well, they had ones... I don't know if they had more, but they had the one Stephen King series, 11/23 63.
Yeah,
63. 11/23/63.
Oh, such a great show.
Stephen King story about time travel and
trying to prevent the assassination of JFK.
Yeah. Which was with James Franco. Oh my God. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
You should definitely watch it.
It's awesome. But,
it's really good. And what's cool about it is that it goes so far as to tell you what would happen. And you get to experience it and understand that things happen for a reason. Mm-hmm. So it's a really cool show. You got to go watch it for sure.
So Castlerock is a TV series that's going to be set in the Stephen King universe. It's going to be around a town called Castlerock in Maine, which is where he based almost every single story he writes. And it's going to touch on everything that Stephen King has. Pretty much everything he's done. This series will either have something about those worlds, as far as, Pet Sematary, The Dark Half, and so on, or they may just lightly touch on some of those things in those worlds. Should be great because it's Stephen King and it's suspense and thriller, and maybe we'll see some Easter egg stuff for, Pet Sematary or...
I have no doubt. We're going to see some stuff that's like that, and especially when Dark Tower comes out, we're definitely going to see so many Easter eggs for that. But this show, for instance, I'm excited for it. It's going to be good because Hulu has shown that they can adapt a Stephen King book, and they can do it in a way that is successful.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm really excited for this, and I'm excited for anything Stephen King right now because they're showing me that they can live up to the books. And I mean, heck, we've got Castlerock, 11/28/63. You've got It. There's Dark Tower that's coming out. Mm-hmm. So there's so many great Stephen King things coming out, and even Dark Tower is looking to get its own series as well.
Absolutely. Now, what they were going to do was have a series of movies for the Dark Tower. Pretty much all the books that he wrote, they were going to have a movie for. And the TV series was supposed to bridge the gap between those movies. So we'd have the Dark Tower, then whatever comes next, and the TV series would bridge between that and the next movie coming out, and so on and so on and so on. Of course, things with the movie series has changed, so the TV series has changed, and we really don't know where they're standing with it right now, other than it's going to be coming out. But what we're going to get, I honestly can't tell you right now. I really don't know that much about Dark Tower. I've never read the books. I don't know anything about it. This is the man that knows about Dark Tower.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. But one thing to understand, and it's definitely a novel, a series that you should read. You should definitely get into that because it's so good. But something to understand about the Dark Tower series is that it's kind of the prominent point where every other Stephen King novel converges with that point. So that's why you're going to see so many Easter eggs with Dark Tower, because
That
everything.
explains stuff
Yeah.
for me now. Okay.
Because if you watch the trailer for the movie, you're gonna see Pennywise. You know, the Pennywise Cemetery or something. I can't remember what it was called. But so that's the reason why, because everything stems from that.
That sure does make a lot of sense to me now.
Oh, and the character, by the way, the Man in Black, the character that Matthew McConaughey is playing, he is a theme, or he is a character that shows up in a lot of his other works, but you don't necessarily know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you're paying attention, you will realize that that character is all across his books.
Oh, in the books?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if they're gonna tie it into any of his other shows, but yeah, in the books, that character is across all of them.
Okay, I didn't even know that. See, the only Stephen King book I read was Christine, and this was in high school, and I loved that book. Then I saw the movie Christine, and the movie was good, but it got to a point where they went from like chapter 8 to chapter 15 or 20 or so. There was a whole lot of stuff that was just missed, and I was like,
take out
what
that part of the book.
The hell?
Yeah.
It was kind of shocking, which is why at that point I said I'm never reading a Stephen King book again. Because it's great, but Stephen King writes long ass freaking books.
He does
and
write a lot.
If you see the movie, then it's you're going to be pissed off. You're honestly going to hate the movie, because the movie Christine annoyed me with that jump that they did.
I would say that the one movie I say that they should remake would be Pet Sematary. I think The Shining was perfect. Keep The Shining the way it is. I am all good with Jack Nicholson being the end-all, be-all for The Shining. But I want to see another Pet Sematary, but I want to see them do it better than that other movie. Because I didn't like Pet Sematary.
You didn't like it?
No, it was terrible.
All right.
People are stupid. I'm sorry. People are stupid. I watch these shows or these movies and I'm like, why? What is wrong with you? Tyler was when I watched Alien Covenant the other day too. I was just like, what is wrong with you people? Anyway, but that's not movie. That's not TV related. Let's get to more movie stuff.
So there's Dark
a lot of
Tower
Stephen King.
TV series. It's that's all I can really say about it, because we don't really know much more than it's going to be gapping between the books and give you some more insight to the characters, the gunslinger and the Man in Black.
Yeah. Well, what I'm curious about too is if they're going to take either the Marvel or the DC approach, where what happens on television also, like, it all ties together with what happens on the movies. That's what I'm curious about, whether or not it's going to happen.
As far as I understand, it should.
I hope so.
They will be linking things between the movie and the series.
Good.
So, all we got to do now is wait and see.
Yeah.
What happens. So, next up, we've had some good political humor this week, and I'm not going to go into that. Just know that Sean Spicer hid in some bushes from reporters because he didn't want to talk to them. And Melissa McCarthy will be hosting SNL this weekend. So,
well, I think it's funny because the two of them, they also tie together in their own right, because just a couple days ago in New York, Melissa McCarthy drove a motorized podium across all New York dressed as Sean Spicer. And it's hilarious. You got to look at it because she's just riding around just like, get out of the way! Get out of the way! It's so great. So, yeah, she's going to be hosting SNL. And obviously, it was a promo bit for SNL. And it's going to be great. She always does a fantastic job. And it's because I love it when comedians do SNL. Actors, when they do SNL, all right, it's kind of funny to watch them do something different. But comedians have the timing, they have the pace, they know what they're doing. And so this one's going to be definitely one to watch.
Yeah, so I honestly can't wait to see that with her and Alec Baldwin playing Trump. So, yeah, we're just going to move away from that one now.
Yeah, just listen to the podcast that you guys do at Jason's place.
Yeah, the new underground.
The
new
underground.
Talk about politics and what we hate about blah blah
politics.
blah. About politics.
Politics.
podcast about politics, and politics.
Politics.
So let's move away.
If people who don't like sports call sports ball or make fun of sports, I don't care about politics. Or politics. I don't care. Politics. Politics. Good.
So let's move away from politics.
Yep, politics.
And get into the Gifted.
Oh, comic books.
Comic book stuff. Way!
Woo!
This is a Fox show about set in the X-Men universe world, whatever. About two kids who develop powers, and their parents have to pick up their kids and run because the U.S. government is after them. Because in the Marvel world, they don't like mutants.
No, they really
at
don't.
all.
No.
So, yeah, we saw the teaser for the trailer.
The teaser of the teaser for the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean it's a teaser. It's not really much to just say, oh, this and that and that and that. It was a teaser. I mean,
I think people need to get away from teasers. I think they need to stop it. There's no reason for a teaser. Just give us a trailer or don't. Like, that's my big issue. If you want to give me a poster, cool. To me, that's a tease right there. I don't need a teaser to tease me about a trailer that's going to tease me about the show or the movie. Like, there's just no reason for it. It makes no sense. Heck, nowadays, most trailers start off with a little teaser before they actually get to the trailer. Like, if you ever watch a trailer right now, like, go watch Dark Tower, that trailer. You will see it'll be like, couple scenes, ching, ching, I'm the man, ching, ching, gunslinger. And it'll be like, stop. And then it'll start, Dark Tower. And it'll go into actually the trailer for the Dark Tower. So you're telling me that for 5 seconds, there was no reason for it. You gave me no reason. You wasted my time for 5 seconds when I'm just going to watch it a little bit later. Am I supposed to get amped about what's going to come in the trailer? Like, I don't care. I don't need to be like, oh! Oh! Like, there's a reason for that.
Oh, that was a good teaser.
So great. So wonderful. Oh, now it's the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm over it. That's my soapbox.
I mean, do you have anything to say about The Gifted?
No, it's an intriguing idea, though. And I like that Fox is taking it. Because Fox, I think, in their mind, they're trying to fight CW at this point. Because you've got Gotham. And I believe they have another comic book show, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember at the moment. But Fox, Legion, I guess, and Fox owns...
on FX,
Yeah, they own FX. So, in my mind, they're trying to fight them in a way, trying to beat that competition. Because let's be honest, you've got Supergirl, Flash, Arrow, Legend of Tomorrow, and then you're going to have Black Lightning. So... they're trying to get into that superhero comic book game on their own network. And so to have a story like The Gifted, I think is a good bridge. Because people will be able to connect with the fact that, okay, these guys are from the Marvel Universe, they have superpowers, what have you.
Yeah.
But also, it's kind of that prototypical Fox show where they're like, we gotta run away from the law, we gotta do this, we gotta do that, And so there's that realistic challenge along with the whole supernatural effect of it.
Yeah. The one thing I like about it is it doesn't seem to be established characters, they're just doing a show. So...
they can take whatever liberties they want.
They can do whatever they want, but this is a kind of a make it or break it thing for them because if it sucks, people are going to start again with the get the X-Men away from Fox and give it back to Marvel and blah, blah.
It's never going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen because they're doing fine with the X-Men movies, but, well, they're doing okay with the X-Men movies. But, I'm going to watch it. It's not like I'm saying this because I'm like, oh, this is going to suck. And no, I'm going to watch it. I hope it's great.
Yeah.
Because even though there's so much comic book stuff on television.
So much.
You still want it to do good.
Yeah. It's our childhood. And we've talked about it on shows before about how nerds run the world now. We talked about it when we were talking about, what's his name? CW guy.
Greg Berlanti.
Greg Berlanti and Mark Guggenheim and those guys about how they run the world, that these are the shows that they grew up wanting to watch. So it's cool that we're getting to see it. So whatever form or fashion we're getting a comic book TV show or a comic book movie or what have you, heck, I'm gonna pounce on it. I'm gonna take it. I'll enjoy every bit of it because we both grew up in a time where you didn't have that all that often. Or the most you maybe had was the X-Men cartoon series.
Yeah, you were limited to cartoons. That was it. So I mean, hope it does good. And since we're on the mutants in the Marvel universe, Deadpool is coming.
And another tie-in. It's another Fox deal because Deadpool is having an adult animated series made after him, and it's going to be on FXX. They've already ordered a 10-episode season, and it's going to be made by Donald and Steven Glover. That's right. The guys who made Atlanta are making this show, and I am overjoyed about it. Yeah, I'm so ready.
We just have the news for it. We don't know who's going to be the voice of Deadpool. No, we don't know who's in it. Yeah. Who's going to do what in it. But it's Deadpool.
It's Deadpool. What I find so interesting, though, is that when the press release came out, Fox was talking about how they're so excited to team up with Marvel TV Studios. And that kind of had my head scratching a little bit because
Really? Did they?
Yeah. Yeah, because Jeff Loeb is attached to the project. So it had me kind of scratching my head a little bit because Fox owns the rights to Deadpool, so why would they need Marvel's involvement in it? I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that maybe there's a deal in the contract where it's like, okay, Marvel TV Studios has to be attached or, to any TV series, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Or maybe it's the sheer fact that maybe they're not sure about how they're going to work in Deadpool, so they're bringing along Marvel to say, hey, why don't you consult us on it? And I don't know why they don't just turn over to Ryan Reynolds, because Ryan Reynolds seems to know what to do with Deadpool.
Yes, he does.
I don't know. It's a very interesting situation, and maybe it's just a whole deal about contracts. I don't know. I haven't read the contract. But I thought it was interesting that, first of all, that they didn't mention the Deadpool movie in the press release. And second, that Marvel's even involved.
Okay. Yeah, I really don't know a lot about the whole deal between Marvel, if it's just movies or movies and TV. But that's honestly good to know.
Yeah.
Because if Marvel's involved, it's probably going to be extra special.
Yeah. And I think that's going to make it that much better. Because you've got the hands of Marvel guiding Fox in this direction. And we've shown, or at least FXX has shown, that they can create quality television with great original programming. Mm-hmm. I mean, you look at Atlanta. You look at Legion. Archer. And this is kind of more in that same vein as Archer. So this is going to be fantastic.
But it may be a little bit more adult than Archer. Well, we can hope.
I mean, Archer's pretty adult. Yeah. So, yeah, it might be a little bit.
We'll see how much further Deadpool can push it. Because the thing with Deadpool is there's going to be violence. So that you're going to see.
There's going to be a crossover episode at some point, right? Like, maybe like season 2 or 3, it's going to be like, Deadpool's on Archer now.
That can't happen.
Archer goes to Deadpool world.
Now, that one might happen. But we have to wait and see what happens.
I mean, they did a crossover episode with Bob's Burgers and Archer.
Yeah, but that's because the actor, John Benjamin, does the voice of Archer, the voice of Archer and Bob. So
yeah, but that was pretty great. I loved it when they did that because Archer lost his mind, lost his memories, and so he thought he was like a burger cook, and it was great. And seeing Bob in that style of the Archer artwork was it was awesome.
It was so magnificent, even though I don't watch Bob Burgers.
Oh, Bob's Burgers is fantastic.
Okay, well. Our next show, which is, I don't know if it's going to be animated or not, but is Judge Dredd.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because we've been hearing for years that they've been trying to make a Judge Dredd TV series. So it looks like they finally put the pieces together and now they're actually going to do it. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting. Do you know what network it's on, or is it just it's kind of up in the air?
It's in development. It's in development. That's all we know.
So they'll probably make the pilot, pitch it to a whole bunch of people, and then hope that they get ordered to series. But it's going to be interesting. I'm curious about which direction they're going to go. Are they going to go the Sylvester Stallone route? Or are they going to go with more of the original comic feel of it, with the Carl Urban part? That's what I'm really most curious about. And I know it's going to make or break a lot of people with their decision on which way they want to go with it. Because I know a lot of people are big Sylvester Stallone apologists for that movie. But there are a lot of people who are just like, I'm a traditionalist. Give me what I read on the comic book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, for me, I never read the Judge Dredd comic, or I believe I read like one or two magazines way back when. But I wasn't so big a Judge Dredd fan that I wanted to see this or that or whatever. Stallone did fine to me.
I know.
If you ask Jason, he'd tell you
he'd flip this table
on him.
Is what it would
yes, he would. And Carl Urban as Judge Dredd was even better because that was the serious "I am the law." Judge Dredd.
The law.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I don't know if you've ever seen. I can't remember the name of the movie right now, but there was a movie that I believe was set in, I want to say Thailand, and it was about this cop that goes to this building and has to take out everybody. And the martial arts were incredible. It's probably one of my favorite choreographed movies, and for the life of me, I can't remember what it's called right now.
Only thing when the cops going into a building is The Raid.
The Raid!
That's it?
Yeah!
Okay. All right.
It was so good. The Raid was fantastic. And that's what this reminded me of. Was this new Judge Dredd movie reminded me of a comic book version of The Raid. And I was really into it. That's why I loved Dredd so much, because it felt like that. So if you're going to take that and transplant it over to a TV series, and I get like my Raid Judge Dredd combination thing every week, sign me up. Just give my money. I don't care where it is.
In it. Okay.
Yes. Now, make it on HBO so I can get like more of like The Raid.
The only thing I didn't see was if it's supposed to be live action or animated.
Yeah, I don't know.
No? Okay. So we're still waiting to find. I mean,
I would assume it's going to be live action.
I wouldn't mind if it was animated.
Sure, but where's it going to go? That's my question.
Yeah.
I mean, FXX is already hands on the Deadpool adult animated, so I don't think they're going to go with another animated show. So what network is going to be willing to shell out the cash for another animated show?
Netflix or Amazon.
True. Yeah.
Well, most likely Netflix.
Probably Netflix.
I mean, Amazon is there, but Amazon is doing their own thing.
I think the thing with us, though, is that we're trying to give Netflix everything.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to buy something else.
Yeah.
So you have, like, Netflix where, Young Justice Season 3, go on Netflix. Wait, nope, they're going to make a DC app, and you're going to have to pay for that and watch that later.
Yeah.
So now we're like, Judge Dredd, go to Netflix! And it's probably not. I don't think it's going to.
Judge Dredd is going to go to the BBC.
I watch BBC America. I will totally take that.
Yeah, but there's no app for it. I don't think so.
You can watch BBC America on demand on the site.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I believe they have an app, if I'm not mistaken, too.
I haven't seen one.
You got to catch up on Doctor Who. Good old Doctor Who.
Yeah, I'm good.
Class, too.
I'm good.
Class is really good. And I've talked about it several times, but Class is really good.
Okay. So, Doctor Who, Class, BBC, Dr. Dredd.
Yeah.
Pip,
Dr. Dredd?
Pip, cheerio.
Dr. Dredd. You forgot about Dr. Dredd.
Okay, so we're going to get away from this.
Yeah.
That's all our news right there. Or the news that I could find or come up with and that we like.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the shows that we watched this week that we loved.
So good. I know which one you're about to get to. I know what you're about to get to.
You didn't know damn
but,
which one.
But before we get to that, because I don't see it on your listing, Silicon Valley. I love that show. It's so good. It's one of the best shows ever that I've watched on television. Just comedically, it's hilarious. It's fantastic. And if you're watching this latest season, it's awesome. People are getting screwed left and right.
Oh my god!
And it's fantastic the way they're doing it. Like, so if you haven't watched it, just put mute real quick because I'm gonna go into it real quick. So very recently, they made Piper Chat. That's what happened on the last episode of the last season. They made Piper Chat, and it was going to be the revolutionary way to chat with your friends and everything. Well, Dinesh became the CEO of Piper Chat because Richard didn't want to do it. He was not into it, and he had his own plans. He wants to create a whole new internet. So he says, you know what? I'm leaving Piper Chat. You guys take it. So Dinesh goes out, and he's like, oh, Huli Chat. This is a much better version of Huli Chat. We basically took all the crappy parts of Huli Chat and made it into Piper Chat. Like, this is how amazing it is. But then they realized that they didn't follow the law.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have like a little registration point for 18-year-olds or under. So, or no, I believe it was 17 or under.
13. Yeah, that's
13.
Yeah.
13 or under. I would basically been messed up too.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he ends up racking up about $2 billion in fines. And at the same time, you had the Huli guys thinking to themselves, hey, we need to get in on this. But wait a second, loophole. They already said that they stole our stuff in Huli Chat, so we can just absorb them. So he meets up with the CEO of Huli, meets up with Dinesh, and is like, yeah, just sign it. You have 5 seconds to sign it. Otherwise, I'm going to sue you. And so Dinesh is like, yeah, you take it. No, take it. Off my hands. And that same episode, they realize, oh my God, we are so screwed. And now the CEO of Huli is no longer the CEO. He just got sacked. And Richard is trying to get him to sign over the rights to this one, I guess, algorithm for the internet that he's trying to create. So it's just so good. It's just getting so great.
I mean, okay, we know that HBO and all these shows, but HBO's pretty much mastered it, where you got a half an hour, something happens, we fix it. In the very last minute, shit goes haywire.
Yeah, it's great.
This show goes beyond haywire. It's like there may be like a 5-second gap where there's like, we see a light at the end of the tunnel. And then dirt just comes falling down on top of them. Yeah. It's like they can never get out from under the issues that they're having.
And TJ Miller's character, I forgot to mention this, Bachman, he is so great. He's currently having a feud with, I can't remember his name right now, but his Asian resident, who was trying to pitch something, and Big Head thought he said something about Oculus. So he's like, Bachman's like, I gotta get in on this. I gotta go, like, pay him off, whatever, so I can get in on this Oculus thing, because it's gonna be rich and everything. So he goes over there, and he's like, I will give you free rent, I will give you this, that, and the kid ends up agreeing to it. And he said, okay, so tell me what we're doing. We're doing something about Oculus, right? And he goes, no, octopus. 8 different recipes for octopus. So then he goes inside, and they're trying to pitch it, and the guy's like, the investors are thinking to themselves, wait a second, I thought you were going to make like a Shazam for food. And then Bachman's like, yes, that is what we're making, a Shazam for food. So it's getting great. I love every minute of it.
Yeah, he's just...
There's one point where they're in a Mexican restaurant, or I don't remember what restaurant they're in, but they're all like drinking little tiki things. Yeah. And he goes, oh man, yes, I'm so confident in this, or you're something like con man or something. He goes, yes, he is con man. He is con man. He goes, he means confident man. So great.
Okay. So the TV show that I'm going to talk about is American Gods.
Yeah, so weird. It's such a weird show.
First of all, there are 2 episodes.
Yes,
and they're moving very slow.
Yeah,
I'm going to say that about it. The show's moving very slow.
They're getting a lot of setup done right now.
Yeah.
Like we met Moonshadow in the first episode, and then Mr. Wednesday, and we also met
Bilquis, the Queen of Sheba.
Bilquis.
Oh,
she ate a person, or absorbed a person. It was weird.
Loki was in the first episode.
Loki was in the first episode? Who's
Uh-huh.
Loki?
The guy in prison that was talking to Shadow Moon, the really mousy-looking guy that was like, and he said, when you get there, don't fuck with the people in the airport and what? Yeah, that's supposed to be Loki.
Really? Interesting.
Um,
That's cool. And then we had a leprechaun, and then we had a tech god of sorts.
the tech god, yes.
Yeah.
The woman in the TV, the one for media. I don't know who she is, but she was dressed as Lucy.
Yeah,
and she
Lucille
talks to
Ball.
Shadow Moon, and he's just, what the hell is going on? I mean, again, the show is slow, but it's weird, and I'm staying with it right now. And I'm probably going to watch the entire season, but I like it. But what I really liked this last Sunday was Orlando Jones.
The revival of Orlando Jones.
Orlando Jones is such an underrated actor.
He really is.
And I thought this guy wasn't really doing much. He'd pop up every now and then. I haven't seen everything with him, but when I see something out there, I'm like, oh, let me. Oh, he's in it. All right, let me watch it.
Yeah.
This guy's been working steadily since 1997.
Yeah, he never stopped having a job.
Never. He's always working, whether it's voicing for a video game, some little like documentary series or something. Like, he's always working. And his character that he portrays, Mr. Nancy, or the god Anansi, a African folklore god that's supposed to be patterned after a spider. His monologue was the most magnificent thing I have seen on TV in a long time. I mean, when this man finished his monologue, I wanted to start a riot. I was like, yeah, we already dead. We gonna kill these. I don't even know what else to say about it.
You have to watch it to really get the justice of it.
Yeah.
Because it's so good.
Now, there are people who were upset about it because, he's talking to a bunch of slaves about rioting, revolting, and killing the white man. So, of course, in this day and age in this country, people are going to have a freaking hissy fit. But you got to look, well, I could say you got to look past all that, but just the delivery, the cinematography, everything about it, just the passion behind his monologue was like, holy crap, this man could talk.
He can, man. And he is a powerful actor, for sure. And so I love him in this role. Because now you're getting to see him really flex that acting muscle that we haven't really been privy to in a while, or at least with prior knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is so good. And it's such a great show. I love that Starz is kind of putting all their chips on the table with it. And it works. It's a weird show. Now, if I'm not mistaken, they're taking liberties with it as well.
Yeah.
And I know Hannah, or Cora, our resident American Gods person, she told me that episode 2 didn't really follow the book so much, that they took a lot of liberties with it. So, if American Gods fans can still be on board with a show that's taking liberties with it, it has to be good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, from what I understand, that whole scene with Mr. Nancy doesn't happen in the books at all. Mm-hmm. His character is introduced in the books as far as it's just like a guy walking down the street. That's about it. It was maybe 2-3 paragraphs of his introduction in the book, but they wanted to change some stuff up, and they said, "Hey, we're going to need you to do this," and he did it, and it was wonderful. And if you haven't seen it, watch it. Even if you say, "Man, I don't like this," blah blah, watch the series.
It's so good. Yeah.
Open your mind.
Shane Black, man. Shane Black is so awesome. I still love, like, it's kind of been in my head the entire time when he was introduced. And he said, so, what's your name? And he goes, well, what day of the week is it? He goes, it's Wednesday. It's my day. So he's Mr. Wednesday. And I love, he said, there's 2 things about me. Number 1, I can sleep at any point, at any time, anywhere. Number 2, I always get what I want. And then he finishes like talking to the guy. He turns over and he's already out. And I'm like, that's so funny. That's so great. I love it. I love Mr. Wednesday.
So episode 3 is coming up this Sunday, and it's like you said, check it out. It's a show you gotta watch. And your show,
Silicon Valley. That's on Sundays as well.
Yeah, you're probably going to hear this every week from him.
Absolutely, man.
Until it's done.
If you're not watching Silicon Valley, what's your problem? But Leftovers,
maybe not have HBO.
Leftovers is great too. That's such a good show, but it never answers anything.
I watched the first 2 episodes of season 1, and I was like, I couldn't get into it, so I dropped it.
It's a slow burn at first, but you have to pay attention to it and really sink it in, because there's so many different things and so many twists and turns that are going along with it, and each season does a bit of a time jump. So it's cool because you're invested in these characters. And so by the end of season 1, you're like, okay, well, where are they going to go next? And then season 2 happens, and there's a bit of a time jump. And you're like, okay, well, this is getting interesting. Then the end of season 2 happens, and now we're in season 3, which is the final season, and there's been another time jump. And they did a time jump within episode 1 to show you where it's going to go. And I don't understand it. Like, it's crazy, but it makes you keep wanting to watch it because you want to know where they're going. Where did the Departed guys go? So, like, I can't wait for it, and it reminds me, and it's obviously the same guy who did Lost, so it reminds me of Lost.
Okay.
And how they're doing it, but I feel like it's going to end in a better way than how Lost ended.
So is it not the rapture that happened?
No. It's not the rapture. And they explain that early on in the series.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
maybe I gotta sit down and watch the thing now.
You have to watch it because they're like, oh, obviously it was the rapture. And then even a priest is coming out and he says, guys, it wasn't the rapture because this guy's gone, this guy's gone, this guy's gone. And they were all terrible people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And what was great is on, every season, they've kind of hinted at the fact that Gary Busey got departed. And in season 3, some people were praying to Gary Busey. And so they made like a giant inflatable of Gary Busey. And he's just standing there in the middle of this town in Texas. And they're like, why do you have Gary Busey up there? He's like, because we needed to show him the way back home. The glorious Gary Busey. And it shows like his teeth and everything. He's just like, he's like this. So great. So yes, you gotta watch it. It's so intense. Season 1 was intense, but season 2 is when it really picked up.
Okay, so we gotta go through season 1 for this thing to really pick up.
Season 2.
Yeah,
because stuff happens, and you realize that okay.
So season 1 is just one long setup.
Essentially, yeah. Because there's a lot of character growth in season 1, so you get invested in it. Season 2 happens, and that's when a lot of things happen, and you start to, and by the end of season 2, you're like, what is this person? What is going on with this person? Mm-hmm. And now season 3, they're kind of going with they're kind of hinting that this one person might be like Jesus. So it's really interesting. So you definitely have to watch it.
Okay, so let's move right along to our take it or leave it section, where the TV networks say we're going to take you to another season, or we're going to leave you right where the hell you are.
I'll leave you on the sidewalk.
Rock.
Where all the pets are that I have to pick up.
Yeah. So
that should be a network.
The one show that was making the big thing this week was Sleepy Hollow. It's finally done.
I'm the Netflix of animals.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
You'll pick up anything.
So Sleepy Hollow is finally done.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting because this was a show that a lot of people loved. It had a lot of big ratings, but then it just tapered off.
I did not watch past the first season. Well, actually, like halfway through the first season, I was like, I was done. I wasn't watching anymore. Karen loves it. She's watched every season multiple times. And when she found it, she was like, that sucks. But she kind of understood because she said that certain characters had left and it was starting to go down last season.
It seems like it had run its course. So it's all right that it's gone, but it's a bit surprising just because of how it was. You know, you remember when it started, and then maybe like 2, maybe 3 seasons in, people were really into Sleepy Hollow. It was a show that Fox was promoting a lot, and then suddenly it just kind of died. So it makes sense why it's gone.
Yeah. Okay, and our next one is a CW show.
2 CW shows, from what I can see.
Yeah.
Back to back.
No Tomorrow. I honestly can't tell you a thing about it because I watched maybe 5 minutes of the first episode and I was like, nope, not for me. Change the channel.
From what I understand, it's about a guy who's gonna die. And this girl is along for the ride.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he lives every day like there's no tomorrow.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Just wants to do whatever comes to his mind. I want to walk with the penguins. He's gonna go walk with freaking penguins or whatever the hell.
In theory, it's a cool show, but it just didn't connect with me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think execution was well done. So it makes sense why the CW got rid of it. Although it's CW, so it's a little surprising that they got rid of it.
Yeah.
Unless they're trying to cut costs to pay for all the other superhero shows.
I mean, they kept Beauty and the Beast for a while.
They kept Heart of Dixie for a while. They kept Rain for a while. Shows that people did not watch that often, they kept for a while. So that is gone, and now Frequency is gone. And I had higher hopes for Frequency than I did for No Tomorrow. I think CW had higher hopes for Frequency.
Not only is Frequency gone, but if you watched SNS Live, where I talked about the time travel shows, Frequency, Time After Time, Making History, Timeless.
Yep.
All those shows are gone.
Yeah, it was weird.
They've canceled every single one.
It's so strange. Like, TV shows, TV networks, it's like they know what other people are pitching. They know what other people are picking up. And so to them, they're like, oh, hey, the fruit of the month is time travel. We got to get in on this. This is going to be big. And then it goes away really quickly. Like, I didn't get into Timeless, Time After Time. I didn't get into any of those because of the fact it just didn't feel like it was going to stick around.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when you base a show entirely around time travel, it's going to fail.
Yes.
Time travel is a hard thing to do for a TV series.
I mean,
if it's kind of like a background element, like what they do with Doctor Who.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a Time Lord. He can travel through time and all that. But that's not the basis behind Doctor Who.
Yeah.
It's just, he does this and blah, blah, and we're not going to explain this paradox. Just keep going.
Yeah. And then there's also Legends, which Legends does a lot of time travel, but they do it with a purpose. And it's because they're trying to keep time in order. But at the same time, they're superheroes.
Yeah.
So that's where it sticks out compared to something like Timeless, where they're like, we're trying to save time, but we have no superpowers, and instead we're just going to save Abraham Lincoln. Like, it's not all right. You know, it's weird.
Yeah. Another one is Imaginary Mary.
That got canceled before it even started, man.
Yeah. As soon as I saw who was in it, I was like, that show is not going past for the first season.
Dude, as soon as I saw what it was about this woman who saw, like, a puppet.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
She had an imaginary friend as a kid, and they went away, and now she's older, and problems have come back in her life. She's in a new relationship, and her imaginary friend comes back. But it stars Jenna Elfman. Jenna Elfman hasn't had a show go past 1 or 2 seasons since Dharma and Greg.
Yeah. And Dharma and Greg ended poorly.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was in the military by the time that Dharma and Greg had ended. But
Dharma cheated on Greg, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
I want to say Dharma cheated on Greg. And they or they got, like, a divorce of some sort. And so then, like, once that happened, it kind of just killed the show. If I'm not mistaken. I mean, I wasn't really, like, an avid watcher, but...
Well, I was, but I mean, like I said, I joined the military, so I probably like the second season I had gone, then I was not watching anymore. So
you mean they weren't showing it every day religiously on the ships wherever you were?
No.
That's really disappointing.
Yeah, Marines have other things to do than watch TV.
On your downtime, you gotta have like VHSs of Dharma and Greg coming in.
Oh, I was watching All My Children.
Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was.
There you go. Okay, so 2 more shows that are off the list are APB,
which is surprising because
I liked.
Yeah, and weren't we gonna have a conversation with he was on APB. I can't remember his name. Ernie Hudson, yeah.
Yeah.
Weren't we gonna have a conversation with Ernie Hudson at some point about APB and whatever else he was working on?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just canceled, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, so now he has time to work on the 2 other shows he's doing.
Yeah.
Because Ernie Hudson works too.
Ernie Hudson doesn't stop. He's not like Bill Murray, where he's just like, I'm Bill Murray. I'll just show up in random places.
He ain't sitting back just collecting Ghostbuster money or whatever. He's working.
That dude hasn't done anything in a while.
And a show that is coming to a close, which I have not watched, but Karen did and was hoping it would get renewed, Blacklist Redemption.
Nah, I'm not with Karen on this one. It was okay to go. Blacklist itself is great. It's a wonderful show. They didn't need a spinoff. It was unnecessary to have a spinoff when a show is already going on. And especially since you don't have James Spader in the show on a frequent basis. And James Spader is what makes the Blacklist. So why are you going to do Blacklist Redemption?
Wasn't Famke Janssen supposed to be like the big thing in this series? I mean, I've never watched it, so...
James Spader makes Blacklist. Why are you going to do it?
But in Redemption, yeah. Move along?
Move along, man. It doesn't. Okay. It was not needed to come
Okay, the show's renewed.
NBC's just burning money.
Blacklist.
Yeah, good. It does. Yeah. Wait. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, it's on the bottom.
Yeah,
I read Blackish, and I was like, that's not Blacklist. Okay. Yeah, good. I love Blacklist. That's a great show.
Why? Because it's got James.
Because it's got James Spader.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will be coming back for another season.
He was in Stargate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Which is a little surprising.
I don't know how this show is hanging. This show is like Chuck. The first season of Chuck, people were like, all the stories you hear is Chuck's getting canceled. And people bitched and moaned and wailed and did their protests and all whatever. And Chuck stuck it out for about 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to me, I just get lost halfway through the season. I just stop watching.
Where I will disagree with Chuck versus Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Chuck was great until the final season. Final season was rubbish. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has not been great. I want to say ever. Like, okay, the Ghost Rider part was cool.
They have good moments.
But nothing that's ever really like, oh my god, did you see that? Like, when the pilot came out, everyone was like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is amazing. But I was like, okay, it's alright. But did you see Lucille fly? It's a pilot. You're never going to see Lucille fly again. And sure enough, we've seen it one time. And since then, like, that first season was alright. It was pretty cool. Second season was cool. How they were, like, showing... I want to say it was the second season where they were showing Hydra took over. And I was like, okay, well, the plot's thickening. But then it just kind of moseyed along. And the LMD part dragged. But now we're at a part where it's cool because we're showing an alternate universe. But I don't know where the hell they're going to go with this.
Again, I don't know how this show is getting renewed.
I don't either, man. I really don't.
Like I said, they do have some good moments in the show. It's not complete crap, but what they do have is just...
Yeah. And I have friends of mine who are like, have you caught up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? I'm like, no,
I'm waiting.
I'm good. Just because it's not a priority. And that's why to me, like, if you were going to tell me that it was canceled, I probably wouldn't have batted an eye. I'd have been like, all right, that makes sense.
Everybody's like, okay,
all right, cool. ABC's saving money.
All right, our next show is The Simpsons. The Simpsons will never get canceled.
This is a shocker for me because, yes, The Simpsons will never get canceled. But I would think that The Simpsons, like Matt Groening would just at some point say, you know what, I'm done. Like, I'm pretty sure he's cashed a lot of checks and has made a lot of money with this one series. And it's still going. And I know that, like, I want to say, like, season 20, they said, okay, that's our last season. We've done 20 years of Simpsons, we're done. And then they kept going. And then they're like, okay, season 23, that's going to be it. And then they kept going. And now we're on this new season that's got renewed, and I'm like, when is it going to end? Like, it's impossible that Bart and Lisa and Maggie are not older by now. Like, 4th and 5th graders or 3rd graders should not have this many adventures. There are 365 days in a year. Okay? We have gone past that episode mark. All right?
Yeah.
Like, give me... I want to see a series where it's The Simpsons, but they're older, and they're learning lessons, and they're going through different stuff and different things.
Yeah, let's go ahead
Let's progress it.
Let's tack on like 3 years to the kid's age.
Yes.
Or something, man.
They are not in 4th grade.
I mean, if you want to renew it, fine. I don't care. I don't watch The Simpsons anymore. It's just...
My favorite episodes of The Simpsons... I mean, there's been a lot of good ones. But some of my favorite ones were where they went in the future. Because now I'm seeing progress. Now I'm seeing something has happened. And that's all I want. I want to see more. We've gone to the past a lot, learning about Marge and Homer and everybody, essentially.
Okay.
But now I want to see the future. Give me Bart and Lisa and everybody going into the future, and let me see a true futuristic series, maybe a season, and I'll be happy. But yeah, it's going on for too long.
Yeah, we'll just wait and see.
Yeah.
So next up shows, Blackish, The Goldbergs.
Yeah.
And Speechless.
That makes sense. I mean, Speechless is a little surprising, but Blackish...
Speechless is good.
But, I mean, compared to Blackish and Goldberg...
Oh, okay.
I would say that Speechless is the low guy at the totem pole.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would say that, yeah, it makes sense Goldberg's. It makes sense Blackish, because those are 2 high-profile shows for ABC. Speechless, I think it's getting there, but it's a good show.
I mean, I like Minnie Driver's character.
Yeah.
She's awesome in that. So
one of the ABC shows that's family oriented that I'm really surprised is still going on is Fresh Off the Boat.
Yeah, that got renewed also.
That's a shocker. You know, it's good. Don't get me wrong. I like the show, but there are a lot of episodes where it's just stagnant. So I don't know how they've maintained it as well as they have, but kudos to ABC. I guess it doesn't cost that much money to keep going.
Keep it going. Keep it going. NCIS, all of them.
Oh my
god. Gotham.
Yeah. I mean, we knew Gotham got renewed. That's something we knew about. Lucifer, I was surprised about.
Now, Lucifer is it's decent. There are a lot of people who actually watch that show. I know a lot of people at work that keep talking about Lucifer. I'm like, oh shit, you watched that?
I was 3 episodes into the Trisha Helfer, introduction. And I guess I just kind of got bored with it because it seems to be the same thing where it's like, detective, we have a new case. Let's find a detective.
Ooh, detective.
Detective, what are you, detective? Detective. And I'm like, all right, can we get to the point where we reveal who she is now, please?
Lucifer is a little bit flamboyant.
Very flamboyant. Mother! Obviously, you're not the one doing all these things. You have reformed, Mother, detective. And so, I'm just kind of over it. I'm like,
that's basically Lucifer.
It's
but
Lucifer.
It's a little bit
nutshell, man.
It's a little bit more to it. Yeah. But so that's our show for this week. Do you want to say anything about some other show? I know BC does.
He does It Is What It Is. He also does Jackass 1. It's a Star Wars podcast. He joins me on Nerd Interference every other Saturday. So not this Saturday,
Sports
but
ball.
Next Saturday. Politics! It's all we talk about there is politics. It's a sports show. So there's that. We also joined a show very recently live from Nerdvana. It's going to be moving to Fridays right now. It's on Thursdays, but we joined the guys from the Dweeb Factory to talk Star Wars. But that looks like it's going to be transitioning, but we will be there starting on Fridays in 2 weeks. So keep an eye out for that. And come out to Nerdvana. It's a great, great place to go to. Someplace I think you would like a lot. So
Maybe.
It's in Frisco. It's cool, so it's not far for you.
I thought the place was kind of overpriced, though.
It's a little overpriced, but I think the experience in and of itself is pretty good. And plus the food is delicious.
All right.
It's pretty fantastic.
I gotta come out there sometime and try it out.
Also, you can find me on cinelinks.com for all your news, reviews, editorials, and more. And keep an eye out for our Road to E3 2017 series. We're gearing up for it. It's next month. We're going to be going out to E3. We've already been invited to go to Bethesda's press conference and Microsoft. We're waiting to hear back on Ubisoft and Sony, but EA was very nice in telling us that they would not have us there because it was too full. And I was like, EA! But anyway, so then...
See, I never liked EA anyway.
I like EA because they make Madden. So there's that, and then you can find me on SCNS every Thursday at 8 o'clock Central on youtube.com/SCNS. You can find me on Twitter at Move the Joystick, and you can find BC on Twitter at REALJACKASSBC, Real Jackass BC. So many things.
So much. It's so much for you people.
Oh my God. What do I do with my life?
Not have a private life, it seems.
Seriously.
You said all this stuff. I'm like, how are you and Alex
We're
doing?
doing great.
She is.
We're doing great. So we're always so tired though.
Matt, I wanna. God damn it. Anyway.
Honey, you wanna watch Impractical Jokers? Yeah, but I'll need like 20 minutes. Like all I can do is 20 minutes. Rewind it? Yeah, that's our life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm Rob.
I'm Matt.
You can find me at Entropy1, and like he said, you can find him at Move the Joystick. BC is not here because he had to work, or he might have a hangover. We don't know.
A little bit of A, a little bit of B.
And barring any other family emergencies with me or anyone else here, well, actually with me, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
All right. Bye-bye.